I'm like a heavyweight lifter. That's what I
Okay.
enjoy doing.
Wow.
So I can lift a lot of weight, but I'm on this. I've been on this weight loss journey for a couple of years, and I'm like ready to kick the last 30 pounds or so. So I'm gonna start doing some Muay Thai
Wow, it's
and
amazing. Trust me, you're gonna feel a lot better.
well, plus getting some combat skills, is gonna be
Exactly,
awesome.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's very fast
yeah.
in Thailand. Like if you train anywhere in the world, Thailand, like if you train 6 months in Thailand, you have the equivalent of somebody who trained like 3 years in somewhere else or four
Wow,
years. Yeah.
wow.
It's
Yeah,
really it's
that's
really
awesome.
significant. Yeah, you should
Well,
do
cool.
it.
That's excited. I'm taking my first lesson this Saturday, so
Yeah,
I'm
do it.
doing like 3 times a week. It's gonna be
Where
awesome.
are you in Phuket?
I'm in Jomtien, just south of Pattaya.
Ah, Pattaya. Okay, okay. But
Yeah,
my
which
my
is
my thing was always not Phuket there, like in the south of Phuket. Like there is a few nice spots.
but
Not Patong. Like Chalong.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
kind
I've
of
been
how I
there.
am in Pattaya.
I've
I'm
been
not
there for
in
six
Pattaya.
months.
I'm like 15 minutes south of Pattaya, so it's
Okay,
much more
okay.
calm, relaxed.
Pattaya is
Yeah,
terrible. I know.
yeah. No, we don't have to get into that.
Yeah. Okay.
Pattaya's a
Yeah.
name.
Let's just start this thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. We have been already speaking a little bit before with Scott Cox, our special guest today. But let's roll this everything up again. And anyway, it's already a big insight what I had through everything that you're doing, Scott. But we didn't come to the professional part, obviously. But you're a traveler. You're a weightlifter, heavy weightlifter, which is amazing. And you're from the United States, and it's amazing to see how you can live around the world. Now you're in Thailand, and how can you do all of this? I mean, it's always for me is the same. I'm traveling a lot, so I'm always interested in other parts. How do you do it, for example? So just
Yeah.
let's start from the beginning. United States, a few years back, how come that you travel the world? The United States is big. It's like you go east to west. You don't need a passport. Everything is good. You go cold to warm, to warm to cold, to mountains, to sea, to you got everything. What is it that
Yeah.
takes you to the world?
Well, there's a few things that really caused that. But mostly I had just kind of built the American dream, so to speak. Which is really kind of the Western dream at this point. I had built a successful business. I was in a marriage, a relationship. I had the house. I had all these things, and I still just wasn't happy. And that feeling like when you go on vacation and you just don't want to go back home. I had built my life to a point where I was traveling. My wife at the time was in another country, and I wasn't going to stay home alone, so I went to a different country, do some traveling, and I remember sitting there and I was just being like, there's really, except for my house, like maintaining my house and then like my dogs, I was like, there's no reason I have to go home. I've built my business to a point where I can manage it from anywhere. I didn't have employees that I had to show up to an office for and manage in an office or anything like that. And my business was digital. It was a marketing agency. And so I just had this feeling. I was like, the feeling doesn't have to end. And so something just kind of clicked in me, just given the whole landscape, the business landscape, the economy, just the culture of the US, really degrading very quickly. And then just some other factors in my personal life. Traveling is always something I've been passionate about and wanted to do. I did quite a bit when I was younger, but then, life, you start a business, you get married, things kind of just get in the way. And, before you know it, a decade has gone by, and you're like, "Whoa, wait, where's all the things that I wanted to do in my life?" And so, yeah, something just clicked in me, and I just made some significant life changes. Ended that relationship, which wasn't healthy for both of us. I exited my agency, which was actually awesome. It gave me a long time to kind of work through some mental stuff from my personal issues, but also kind of recenter myself for what I wanted to do going forward. And yeah, I left, and the crazy thing is, and you can probably relate to this. Anyone who's done any significant ongoing travel can relate to this. When I left, I wasn't thinking, oh, great, let me go start this new lifestyle, right? I was just like, I want to go travel. I want to go like spend 6 months in this country and then spend 6 months in that country and just like not have a schedule, not have, like, okay, like a vacation. When you go on vacation, at least the way like it's presented to you in the US, you go on a 2 week vacation and you're like, okay, we're gonna go here and it's all structured and you're gonna go do all these things while you got to make the most of it. I was like, I don't want that life. I want to go to a place and I want to spend time there as much or as little time as I want based on how I like it and things to do, and then move on when I'm ready. And so I started that with South America, and then I had an opportunity to come over to Asia, and I was like, man, I've never been to that side of the world before. And honestly, my plan was to go back to South America, come over here for maybe 6 months to a year, and then I look up and it's been 2 years and I'm still here, because I've just absolutely fallen in love with how different the culture is to
Exactly.
everything westernized. So yeah, that's the long short of it all of how
Wow,
I got this
that's
lifestyle.
that's amazing. That's amazing. So it's just give me another for the agency that you sold.
Yeah,
It was a marketing agency, right?
correct.
So you cashed out and you say, okay, now it's time to to do something different, right?
Yeah, I had reached a point in the agency where, anyone that's run an agency knows like agency life isn't always the smoothest, least
Oh,
stressful.
Jane.
Right. I mean, I remember everyone telling me like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had done what you did and had this life." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." But and especially with my clientele, I was dealing mostly with a lot of small businesses, and
Oh
small
yeah.
businesses by nature are very unstable. And so, that had a lot of other issues that we can get into in a little bit. But yeah, I was ready to move on. And one of the biggest problems that I saw with being a service provider, especially for small businesses and agency wise, was we would get started with clients, we would bring them marketing services, and they didn't have the infrastructure in the business or the knowledge to build the infrastructure to support the increase that the marketing would bring them. And so this created a lot of issues with longevity with our clients and actually helping them scale and grow, which is what I was passionate about. So I said, hey, look, this is something I know a lot about. This is something I'm passionate about. I've helped my clients with this for no charge outside of them just paying me as an agency, service provider for however many years. I was like, let me transition into actually helping small business owners create their own marketing sales strategies, implement them. And then I had built my own teams for years out of utilizing virtual assistants or remote workers. So I was like, honestly, for most small businesses, it doesn't make sense to use a full-blown agency ongoing. So I was like, I can also help these clients learn how to hire and train properly virtual assistants, remote workers, and actually get some more consistent, stable growth long term to help them scale from, 6 figures to 7 figures or low seven to, more 7 figures.
Okay, because you mentioned all these very crucial points, and there are a lot of videos out there. I'm sure you see that on YouTube and everything. Yeah, sitting at the pool and having the laptop on the laps. I mean, I do it myself, but
Yeah,
it's
you
like a
have
few
to if
minutes,
you
and
live
then I
this
get
life.
annoyed. Then I get annoyed. I go inside because I have to really work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the thing is that people think that you can do like two week hops everywhere and you actually be productive and pull something out of your business, which is
Yeah. No.
completely but
Yeah.
this is what they try to sell us on Instagram and everything. It's
Right.
it's it's like that. So for me personally, look, I'm doing my preferred time frame is 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't like to go under it. Only if it presses me with the visa and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I really prefer, because then I can sit down, I can focus, and the time pass so fast, and it's funny
Yeah.
because you are in these countries. For example, when I was in Thailand, it was very extreme because I remember we were 6 months there, and I was working like 10 hours per day, and when I get out, I was in another world. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what's going on? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
something. It's very strange. You get like it's like time traveling. It's like you go on, you take a plane, you go somewhere else. It's not that easy like everyone is showing it. It's very
No,
harsh for the body.
yeah, well, and your mindset and your productivity and your your routines. It's hard on all of that. Like assimilating to a new culture. And look, you can go live in a country for a couple weeks, for a month, for a couple months.
Yeah,
I don't think you really actually start to assimilate to a country until you've been there for at least for probably 6 months. Once you hit that point, now you're starting to actually get, localized routines, and even things such as like buying water. Before I was in Thailand, I lived in Bali, of course, a cliche.
I know.
But I lived in Indonesia, absolutely loved it. Um, but getting drinking water right there, you have to call up a local shop and they bring out a 5 gallon jug, right? Well, here in Bali or here in Thailand, they don't have that. What they have is literally 7-Eleven, which
Yeah, you need to buy always a water. Yeah.
yeah, anybody watching from the States, we don't even see many 7-Elevens anymore, but come to Thailand, there's literally four on every block. And you literally just go buy bottles of water, and it's not expensive. It's still very affordable. But, again, in the US where we're from, like you have water that comes out of a filter on your fridge.
Yes.
So it's like even just those little things going to different countries, like there is a lot to it. And then, like you said, on top of that, you have the legal stuff, which is your visas and all of those different things. So it probably is to a point easier from a visa legal standpoint to country hop every few weeks or every 4 to 6 weeks or something. But if on your business, like you were saying, your mindset, your routines, all that kind of stuff, no, it's gonna wreak havoc. You just can't. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be distracted. I mean, even what is the point of coming? I've put on a couple of pounds. In the past 2 months, I got off my routines, but I'm like, I'm in a new country. I want to try the food. You know,
Yeah, sure. I
I'm
understand.
like,
Yeah,
so even some now a couple months in, I'm like, okay, I've tried the food. Like, like there's obviously more to try, but I have a good idea of what I like, what I don't like, what I want to continue trying, and I can time myself. Now I'm like, okay, now I need to get back in my routines. I need to get back to my physical activity, going to the sauna, like doing all these things, just get back to doing what I need to do. But like that takes time. Why go
sure.
to a country? Why travel for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and then be so busy working you don't get to do anything,
Oh,
you
sure,
know?
sure. I completely agree with that. So
Yeah.
I think looking at it from a business standpoint, when you have set up a company, for example, I don't know where, I'm not sure if I'm sure you're aware of the different company structures as well in Thailand for
Yeah.
foreign BOI or I
Yeah.
forgot yeah. Um, when you do that, because many don't understand or don't think about that. I mean, when they travel, they need to have a company somewhere, and for me, because
Yep.
we are as well a digital business, I don't see the purpose to place my business in a country where I will never be. It's useless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, well, how do you do it? For example, if you choose a country, are you staying because you're American citizen? Obviously, they will be behind you and tap on your head all day long. If there is I know I'm sure you know the way out. You go give your nationality away, get the sentnits and I don't know what. It's I don't know if it's
You
the best
can't
way to do
you
that.
can't give it away. You have to pay for it. You have to pay them to give it up.
Now you have to pay now. Yeah, right.
Didn't like that, but you have to pay to give it up. You cannot just give up your citizenship in the US. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so how is it for you? I mean, do you open up? Do you leave your because there's countries which don't report to the US, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you leave your company there and as an LLC over there, or do you open up subsidiaries in other countries wherever you're residing?
Yeah, so I've got a company in the UAE. I set up there. I have a company in the US still because I do have some business in the US. Probably going to be looking at wrapping that up this year, and then I'll close that down. My personal goal and strategy comes from wanting to actually break away from the US. So one of the things that I'm focused on at this point in my life, now that I've got all of my personal stuff taken care of, I've kind of transitioned into the new business, and we're moving forward with this. one of my personal goals is to diversify my passports. So the idea is to eventually renounce from the U.S., let go of that passport, let go of all that oversight and control from the mothership, right? And just have more diversification and freedom with travel and portfolio and stuff like that as far as passports go. So that's kind of my main focus. So for me, like I have a couple of things I'm working on. I can get Thailand citizenship after a long period of time. But for me, that's setting up a company here. Will give me the work visa, work permits, which means I can pay taxes and then qualify for the citizenship eventually. And the reason, for example, just for those wondering, I want a Thai citizenship is because Southeast Asia is one of my favorite regions
Best.
in the world.
Yes, definitely.
Southeast Asian countries all have an agreement that if you have one of those passports, you can travel visa free between all of the different countries. And so, if I had a Thai passport, I wouldn't want to use it, obviously, to try to go any westernized countries or, probably even Western
But
European countries.
who needs them anyway now, you know?
Right, exactly. Like I wouldn't want to go, but for around Southeast Asia, it'd be
Sure.
amazing to have to build up that freedom of travel. So, that's one thing I'm working on. Getting back to the company's, point of view, again, because my personal focus is on passports at this point. You can kind of open up a business anywhere. You need to do tax research and legal research and all these kind of things, but you can pretty much open up a business anywhere as long as are from a major country, have a decent ranked passport and things like that. But Serbia is a place I'm looking at because you can open up a company in Serbia. It's actually very inexpensive. You can open it up for less than $1,000 US. Um, you just have to pay some taxes every month and accounting and stuff like that. Again, it's like less than $300-400 a month. You do that for 3 years, and then there are some stay requirements. But you do that for 3 years, you can get your permanent residency. The day you get your permanent residency in Serbia, you can file for your citizenship. And citizenship, last I heard, is like 4 to 6 months. So
Wow,
within four
that's good.
years, you could potentially go, yeah, start becoming. Now, for me, one of my major things, again, because I'm trying to leave the US, is tax incentives. So UAE, I'm in free zone, because for now, there's
Same
still
here.
tax free.
Yeah, yeah. They will
Um,
stay like this. Don't worry.
no, it won't. So no, that's why I'm thinking like, hey, I'm gonna go open up a company in Serbia anyway. Serbia is 9% tax, and UAE is just very expensive. If you want to do anything there, it's very expensive. So I'm like, maybe I'll just kind of let the UAE business ride out, and then I'll transition everything over to Serbia because 10% in the UAE or 9% in Serbia, one hand or the other, it doesn't matter. So.
So normally, what you're saying, just for the taxes, UAE as a free zone, we don't pay taxes actually.
For now, yeah, but they passed the law last year where basically it opens up the door to that we could be taxed in the future. So I think it's
Okay.
20 in year 2026 they're supposed to make an
Mhm.
official decision on free zones.
Wow.
So
Yeah, then
if
I'm
it
out as
stays
well.
that, huh?
Then I'm out as well because it makes no sense, you
Well,
know?
right, well, because it's so expensive. Why am I
Yeah,
going to pay
exactly. It's
10%?
it's already expensive. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I'm seeing that all these countries are only making things more difficult and they're charging more money because they're trying to raise more funds to operate government wise. And so I'm thinking, Serbia is pretty low key. It's going to help me get
European
access to a
country, you know, it's
few
amazing.
things. Yeah, it's not part of the EU yet, but EU, but they're working on it. So if I could get a citizenship there, and then I have an EU, that's pretty
That's
amazing.
good. Perfect.
Not that I want to go to Western Europe, but if I wanted to, needed to, could. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. So you know
yes, that's how I structure kind of my businesses
okay,
and where I'm at. For me, I don't mind having a business where I'm not. For me, it just gives me more diversification.
sure.
If I had a YouTube channel where I was talking about the culture in Thailand and the Thailand government didn't like that and
Wow,
they
that would
kicked
be
me out,
amazing.
well, no, that would be terrible.
No, I mean, like if you do a video, like if you do a YouTube channel like this, I'm sure it will work very well, you know?
Right. but what we have to be careful though, because what's happened is if you say the wrong things
Oh,
against
for
the culture,
sure. Oh no, you
they
don't. You
have
don't.
issues.
You stay clean.
So if I have where I live, my business, my bank accounts, all in different places, that's kind of like a nomad capitalist kind of
Exactly.
strategy.
That's the best.
But that's kind of, right now it's like, how can I get business and passports working together for me? That's kind of my
Sure,
main
sure.
strategy.
Wow. I mean, it's already a great information, and I'm sure many of the listeners will say like, "Wow, I wanna do something like this." So maybe
Do it.
maybe you can help us. I mean, it took a long time. I can tell you, I'm in this for the last, I think, 12 years. Took a long time to actually go on the way. I mean, some people do it faster, but I
Right.
mean, like to sustain it afterwards is as well another story, as you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what type of business do you run at the moment that would help others to do the same as you?
Yeah, so I have a consulting and kind of, I guess, coaching business. I hate using the word coaching or the label coaching, but I have a consulting business where basically I help those small business owners that I helped as an agency build their own teams of remote workers to implement and build sales and marketing strategies and pair the two together so they can actually start to scale their companies, and not be fighting the small business cycle of feast and famine, which every small business goes through, and it's literally just brute force to get through it. But part of that, I think, part of the ability for small business to do that is to build these small, very affordable but functional and highly effective teams to help them maintain these strategies of marketing and sales and grow and start to actually be consistent in those areas and get that consistent growth. So that's what I'm doing now. If anyone needs help building those teams or putting your sales and marketing strategies together, or even if you just I have an audit. So even if you just want me to take a look at you're like, hey, maybe I've been stuck for a couple of years. I've tried some different things. I can come in, I can basically go through every part of your business and tell you where all the gaps, missed opportunities are, and just give you a plan to solve those and get you moving again. So yeah.
I think that's great. So you've been doing this for a long time already. You have some experience in that. Obviously, you've tested it on yourself as well. So
Yep.
I'm quite confident. I mean, you're living the so-called dream, being
Yeah.
Thailand, and having a good time, And I mean, obviously, like I already mentioned, we there is always work in it, And
Of course.
I mean, the whole story around it is this as well, that I mean that when you have such a lifestyle, everything comes from, I mean, needs to come from it starts somewhere. It's
Yeah.
not like one day change. So when people fly to Thailand, they think, oh, it's so nice, or Southeast Asia or Malaysia, I don't know, somewhere in this area. Oh, it's so nice, so
Forever. Yeah.
beautiful. And as you mentioned, you need to stay longer there in order to understand where you actually put your feet, because it's not
Yeah.
everything is so funny, because obviously there can be situations that might be scary. The government is not 100% stable. It was as well the reason why I left Malaysia, because there was a change a few years ago. I think you heard that, there was a change of the prime minister, and
Yep.
because of this, many things has changed afterwards. So our company
Yep.
suddenly paid 23% of taxes. So there was that was not the best thing. So
Yep.
I think Labuan, yeah, Labuan company. Have you
Yeah.
heard of that? Yeah, perfect. It's,
Yeah.
it's very good structure. It was very nice. We were very happy, and suddenly boom. And this is one of the things I think people need to understand, who want to do the same thing, want to travel, want to do that, is that governments can change like boom overnight. UAE the same.
Right. Well, it's like I'm making these plans for passports, and look, if you want to go out and you can invest a passport, the cheapest passport right now is Antigua and Barbuda. It's about 130 grand all in for one person, 130,000 US dollars, for one person. And so that's a significant amount of money to put
Yeah.
into passport. That's a lot of years of living in Thailand. you know,
Yes, true.
130,000 dollars. So, it's one of those things where like I'm working on these naturalization processes, but yeah, Thailand could change its mind tomorrow. I could get to the end of the, initial 5 year process, and they go, oh, nope, now it's 10 years, or now it's completely different, the requirement. And like, it's nothing's guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. And, you're kind of just doing the best you can. And this is kind of why, you have to have, as they say, diversification. You have to have multiple options going at one time. I'd love to be able to do Serbia and Thailand at the same time, and even, try to work in a third, which would be great. So, but because things
Definitely.
change, governments change, and yeah, you can't. There's one thing this life will teach you is uh, you can't, you can't expect anything. Just go with the flow. That's all you can
Exactly.
do.
Very good. Very good. Very good. And in all of this stress and mess, how do you stay healthy?
Oh, so I've tried to stay active. One of the great things about Southeast Asia is you just tend to do a lot of walking.
Yes.
So I try to walk everywhere I can. Focusing on food groups. So for me, I'm a big guy. I have a lot of muscle because I, lift a lot of weight. I've been lifting for over a decade. So I eat a lot of protein. And just honestly, after years of tracking meals and counting calories and all those things, I have a
Same.
pretty good idea. If I stay away from sugar, if I only eat, half a cup to a cup of rice a day as far as carbs go, and, I eat some protein, eat as many vegetables as I want because I won't eat that many, and just have a decent amount of protein to fill me up. I can maintain or even lose weight depending on my physical activity. So I try to keep everything as simple as possible when it comes to my business, when it comes to my health, all that kind of stuff. I find the core root things that are going to work for me no matter what country I'm in. No, there's a comedian, I can't remember who it was, made a joke that that the chicken is God's bird, right? Because it's the only bird that everyone eats and we can actually catch. Like, it doesn't fly, and it's on every continent in the world. Like, it's
It's true.
God's bird for
Chicken
man.
is definitely good. Is
Like,
chicken is the
I can
best, you know?
go I can go anywhere and get chicken, especially chicken and rice. So, you know,
Chicken rice. Yeah.
um, like, hey, sometimes it's that basic, but usually, other cultures, they know how to use spices and seasonings and stuff like, we don't really know how to in the US. So it's still good. But yeah, I just keep things basic, keep things simple. And don't overeat, stay active.
Yeah, that's great because that's the one thing I've seen, or I've got asked a lot. How do you stay healthy on the journeys?
Yeah.
Like I don't care if time zone, not time zone. I have to go to the gym. There is no other way.
Yep.
4 o'clock in the morning is my 6 or my 12 at night. I don't care. I have to go. That's that's
Yep.
that's the one discipline you have to keep, because if not, you're gonna completely lose it. It's that's
Yeah. Well, and I think at times you have to know your body, you have to know
yes,
your,
definitely.
your stress levels and stuff. I mean, when I came to Thailand, it was a particularly stressful change for me. I had a personal thing going on. And then I was starting, a new country, and I had another project that I was starting. I just had a lot going on. And so, like I said, and I'm in a new country, I'm wanting to try the food. So I'm eating more than I typically eat. And I haven't been outside of walking everywhere. I haven't been as active as I normally am. But, look, you do that for 4 to 6 weeks or however long you feel it, your body needs to, as long as you get back to it. What I've learned over a long period of working out and being out, and I'm not, I don't have six pack abs and stuff like that, but, um, I'm healthy according to, I go, every 6 months and get blood panels and stuff like that. I'm perfectly healthy. Um, but what I've learned is, look, you're gonna have times when you're on it, you're gonna have times when you're not. The point is, if you can be consistent over that long period of time,
Consistency.
that's
Exactly.
that's when you'll come out ahead, and that's when you'll win. So if you have to take a week off, a day off, a couple of months, just don't let that become your habit. Be your habit that, hey, this is just a break and I'm getting right back to it as soon as I, can.
No, definitely. This is really amazing. These tips that you're giving, and because it's hard. It's hard to travel. I mean, it seems always fun, but it's quite hard. I'm still not over the time zone, the last time zone that I did now. Still not. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can
Right.
see it. I'm still not over
Right.
there. It's only 4 hours, and I have another four
Right.
hours to go in 2 weeks from now. So it's not easy. I might be waking up at night and just say like whatever, and
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This change is very hard for me. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
harder, sometimes not. But
Yeah.
we need to put everything into consideration and be stable on it. And I think, Scott, if anybody of the listeners really want to get in touch with you, where is the best way they can do that?
Yeah, so you can find me on most social media channels, definitely Instagram, Facebook. My handle is Nomad Talk and Mad Talk. Or you can go to my website, which is stxconsulting.co.
Okay.
So either way you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to talk about travel. I'm happy to talk about international life, business overseas. I'm always looking for more connects and stuff like that, brainstorming business ideas. That's one of the things as you start getting out of your own country and getting into new countries, just business opportunities are,
Sure.
I'm going to be partnering up here soon with a buddy of mine who he's got a very successful real estate business here. He does quite a bit of money, and you don't even have to have a license in Thailand. You just literally go to developers, get the material, sell it, offer it to people, and when they buy, you get paid. That's all you got to do.
Wow, that's
You
great.
know, be amazing. Yeah, yeah. So, just having, again, the same as the passports or anything else, just having diversification, multiple pokers in the fire, as we, so to say. And yeah, but that's how
That's
you guys can
great.
get a hold of me.
Definitely. So, and you have a podcast as well, right? From what I understand.
No, I don't have a podcast. I have been running a YouTube channel, but again, I'm just kind of in the middle of figuring out the future of that. So you
Okay.
guys can go on and see. I have like 60 plus videos on marketing, sales, and remote workers. So you can go check out that. I have done a few videos of my life in Thailand and everything, so you guys can check out that a little bit. But it's not like a
A vlog,
day.
I thought like,
Yeah,
Instagram
literally just like.
famous.
Yeah, it's like here's life updates for me for those of you that care. For my mom.
Great, amazing,
Um,
amazing, really.
but yeah, you guys can check that out. But yeah, connect with me on social. That's the best way. Facebook, Instagram. I'm there.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.